What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. Hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Sulphur Aeon, entitled Gateway to the Antisphere. This is released on Imperium Productions, Van Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very contemporary, mythological, H.P. Lovecraft-inspired style of death metal. Yeah. This is one of those death metal bands that honestly flew under my radar, and in retrospect, I'm kind of kicking myself in the shins for having not gotten into this band sooner. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of things about their 2013 debut full-length entitled Swallowed by the Ocean's Tide. That record was just marvelous. I mean, of course there's the long-running saying, better late than never. I'm really glad I was able to get into that album. I really enjoyed the musicianship, the really immersive sort of storytelling aspect of this band, the music, the songwriting. They even had a cover of the theme song to Lucio Fulci's Zombie. That just shows you this is a band that can take many differing elements and throw it into a very complete death metal package. The instances of death metal, mythology, Chthulu, horror, just some really occult sort of stuff and ideas being presented with this band. And it really made for a lot of people talking, and like I said, I kind of wish I heard this band sooner instead of later. But anyway, Sulphur Aeon are back, and I wondered how they would be able to top what they had done with Swallowed by the Ocean's Tide. And now here we are with their sophomoric effort entitled Gateway to the Antisphere. It's 11 tracks, and it clocks in at around 51 minutes in length. And going into this album, I could immediately tell that this album was going to take the ideas from the first album and expand on them, grow with them, and become something even more bombastic. And it's very well evidented within this band's music. And the music being presented here is just so marvelous to listen to. I should also point out that this band is a trio. It's only 3 people playing in here. And for this being a somewhat of a power trio, it just sounds really heavy. And you can definitely hear it within this album's music. There is a lot of improvement being presented here throughout the 11 tracks that are on here. It just is a musical death metal clinic, very much representative of a modern contemporary sort of death metal sounds. I mean, if you're into stuff like, let's say, maybe Immolation or Nile, or maybe Steve Tucker era Morbid Angel, you can definitely pick up those vibes and instances when you listen to the musicianship being presented here. The guitar work here is very fluid. It sounds phenomenal. The riffs, the leads, the tremolos. There is just a lot to absorb here. I mean, songs like Devotion to the Cosmic Chaos, Abyss Hex, and Onwards Towards Kodath. Just some amazing guitar riffs going on here. Very well structured, well balanced. The chords sound great. The riffs sound amazing. There is just a lot of great detail being presented here. And that's once again goes towards this band's storytelling aspects. There is a lot of stories to be woven here within these guitar riffs, and it definitely sounds great. It definitely has a great tone to it. I love the production. Once again, going back to the fact that this has a more contemporary, modern sort of sound, but not modern to the point where it feels too clean or too distracting. I definitely think it sounds phenomenal to listen to all the way through. The guitar work here definitely tells the story of Gateway to the Antisphere, and it just sounds so amazing to listen to. The bass work is very good too, very nice bottom end to have a good balance throughout this entire release. Like I said, this is a more guitar-driven sort of record, but the bass work is very well handled too. Definitely sounds good. Another great aspect to this album's production and mixing. When it comes to the drums are just as immersive and as well bombastic as the guitar work being presented here. There is a lot of emphasis on drum fills, double bass, blast beats, just a very sturdy death metal drum performance being done here. I love this guy's speed. I love his creativity, and definitely something to keep going when it comes to the lengthier songs that are on here. Pretty much every song in here on its own right is pretty lengthy, with the exception of the introduction and the closing moments of this record. But this drummer knows exactly what he's doing. He does a very fine job. It's a very well-structured drum performance. Once again, very evidenced on blast beats and drum fills and double bass. Just very well-structured drumming on here. It definitely feels like you're listening to something very atmospheric and well delivered when it comes to the drumming. And when it comes to the vocals, I love this guy's vocal delivery. Definitely very powerful, very from the heart sort of delivery, very booming, guttural. Not guttural to the point where you can't understand it, but his delivery is done in a very powerful manner. His vocal deliveries, his growls, the screams, the way the lyrics and stories are being driven here, this guy definitely knows what he's doing. And once again, going back to this band's lyrical sort of themes, that Chthulu, Lovecraftian sort of mentality, this is one of those bands that definitely gets it right, does the lyrical content justice, and definitely are a band that pay very close attention to their craft, and you can even tell by the artwork. If I'm not mistaken, this is the same guy who did the artwork for most of Disma's musical releases, and for every Sulphur Aeon cover you see, something more magical begins to be shown here. And it really does look great. The artwork looks great. The musicianship is great. And overall, this is a great album. So overall, if you are a fan of what Sulphur Aeon had put out previously, you're going to fall in love with Gateway to the Antisphere even more. There is a lot more to take in. This is definitely thinking man's sort of death metal being presented here. The Lovecraftian mentality, the mythologies, the songwriting, the great bombastic riff and drum work. Just so much to take in. It's worth a journey. So, if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Devotion to the Cosmic Chaos, Titans, Abyss Hex, Diluvial Ascension, Gateway to the Antisphere, and Onwards Towards Kodath. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will link you to the Van Records Bandcamp, where you can stream this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can purchase it digitally, and it is also available on CD, limited edition CD, and 12-inch vinyl. I'm pretty sure people like Dark Descent and Ominous Domain will be distributing this in the United States, or if you want to order it from overseas, there's a lot of ways to get a hold of this album. So, again, the album is Gateway to the Antisphere by Sulphur Aeon. This is released on Imperium Productions, Van Records. Definitely check this out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a solid 9 out of 10. Definitely one of the most immersive and solid death metal releases to come out this year. If you're a fan of death metal that has those Chthulu, Lovecraftian sort of elements, Sulphur Aeon is a band for you to be checking out. So support Sulphur Aeon. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until the next time, Armijo out.